course, Minister Israel Onova is the pioneering artist at Onova Music. His journey in ministry is rooted in a passion for gospel music with an unwavering desire to share his musical gifts with the world. Minister Onova dedicated years of diligent effort and unwavering commitment to craft his debut EP, aptly titled Manifest. The album comprising 6 tracks, including poignant compositions such as Jehovah Reigns, Most High, You Alone, Sing Hallelujah, Manifest, and I Will Praise. This album represents a culmination of Minister Onova's spiritual journey and artistic expression. He joins us via Zoom, and of course, to give us some insight into the gospel industry and, of course, his ministry as a music artist. Good morning from Nigeria, Minister Onova. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yes.
So you can hear us quite well, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'll have my colleague here as well, Adebanke Odunui. Of course, we will be running this interview this morning and getting your insights on the things happening in the industry. First of all, before we come to talking about your ministry and all of that, you've heard the story of Sinach, who was sued for 5 billion naira by Maye, who's a producer, who the person who claimed to write, who have written the song Waymaker. What's your take on this?
Well, I'm just hearing it for the first time, so it's interesting to hear that everybody can make claims. At the end of the day, the truth is going to be out. And that is the reason why it's always good to, you want to cover all your, everything at the end of the day, because if you put your work out there and you don't have like a copyright something to cover what you've done, you get to see things like this. And I think it's more or less like a warning sign to everybody, because anybody could come up to say anything at any point. We've seen a lot of things like that happening in the industry. Eventually, the truth is going to be out, so everybody just have to do the right thing. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Well, how do you think the situation is going to pan out, seeing that you're just hearing it for the first time? So we know that this is just a little prediction of yours. And also for you, I know that you have been in the ministry for quite some time. How do you protect yourself from these kinds of legal troubles?
So there's so many things that one could do in terms of covering in lack of better words, I would say every loose end. Because, for example, when you write your song and you put your song out there, you put your lyrics out there, you're supposed to make sure that for example, what I did in my own case is to make sure that every song that I wrote that is out there is credited to me. So if anything comes up in the future, I have my own way of backing up everything that I have done. So, of course, those things will go through things like, vetting just to make sure it's authentic, it's original, and stuff like that. So basically, I know that if she had done that, she doesn't have anything to worry about, unless, of course, if that song was originally actually co-written by both of them, and she's claiming to take the whole credit, then it's a problem. Other than that, if she has done all she's supposed to do, dot the I's and crossing the T's while, she did all that, then she'll be fine. But most cases that I've seen situations where we are not well informed and people actually, don't, do the right things ahead of time. Then when situations like this arises, it becomes an issue. So I guess it's a warning to every one of us out there, so that we can, do the right things before our music actually goes public, because anything can happen.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. But let's move to you now. You have a new album coming out. I want to know, in your own honest opinion, what makes this album different from the albums of your fellow colleagues, and why gospel music in the first instance?
Well, that's a beautiful question. I don't know if you want the long answer or the short answer.
Short answer.
Okay, good. So for me, I believe that every song is special. You know, just like the Bible says that the Bible that we read is inspiration of the Holy Spirit. There is nothing that you can add or subtract from it, right? So for me, my music, the one that God has given to me, is my music in the first instance. So it's different, and I always try to be original. So, and that's if you listen to the songs, even every other thing that I have on the EP, you will discover that it's absolutely different, and it caters to, a different audience. I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm trying to be 100% the best of version of myself. So, and that I believe is what makes my music different.
So in all of this now, we see that you have been doing music for quite a long time. What has been that drive that has kept you?
I would say God and passion for the art. Because if you don't have a passion for something, trust me, it's gonna fall off along the line. Because looking at the time I started and where I actually eventually recorded my songs, that's a huge gap. Say 20 something, almost 30 years. So if I didn't have the passion to do it, I won't definitely be recording myself. So, but I'm glad that eventually I'm able to put all the work together and get this done eventually. And of course, I got a lot of support from family and friends rooting for me, who knows that I have this gift, and of course, I didn't want to disappoint them. So, yeah, that was my driving force.
I like the fact that you said you had lots of family and friends supporting you. That's awesome. But I also want to double down on some of the challenges that you have experienced since you began this journey. What are some of those issues, and how have you been able to navigate them, and which ones are you honestly still navigating till now?
I can answer that question from a different angle. I could look at that question from the angle of an independent artist, for example. There's always the business side to everything, right? And also that's one side in terms of following up with what you're doing, how the streams and all of that, promoting your songs and all of that, and doing it even the right way. Because guess what? This is not a journey that I'm familiar with. That means that I will stumble, make some mistakes, then keep going. That is one. Another thing that I faced was dealing with getting the right people to produce your songs and all of that. So I'm very, very particular. If there's anybody that knows me very well, will tell you, oh, this guy is a perfectionist. Why? Because if I'm going for something, I want it to sound in a particular way. Trust me, nothing else is going to dissuade me or from following my passion. I mean, what I actually want to achieve. So for me, it's all about, I will not give unto God what will cost me nothing. It has to be excellent. I think that's one of the challenges that I faced, getting the right people. And of course, living here in the United States is very, very much unlike Nigeria. You have instrumentalists, you have musicians everywhere that you can always tap on the shoulder. People you probably grew up with and things like that, it wouldn't cost you anything to get the song done. But here is a lot of difference. So the cultural difference is one thing. Another thing is, you have to think about a sound that they can actually relate with. So for me, bridging that gap was something that I had to deal with. The cultural differences between what the music that I'm used to and what they are used to, and actually getting somebody to understand your sound enough for that to represent you or produce that sound the way you want it to be. So a lot of things that I can actually give to you as answers, but I think I've been able to touch one or two things, so I will let it go.
So in performing all around the world as a gospel music artist now, what's that difference that you see between the gospel music scene internationally and that of Nigeria?
I would say I wouldn't say that a lot of difference in terms of the quality of music coming in from Nigeria. I would actually say that one thing that I do appreciate about our music is our music has really, really evolved. You know, when you look at the gospel music scene in Nigeria, a lot of things has happened. You know, the transformation from, even remember the days of Panapa Paul, you know, Voice of the Cross, and even what's it called, Sammy Oposo and the rest. A lot of things has gone through the, you know, the industry, and you can tell that, you know, Nigerian music has come to stay. So the difference is definitely there. The difference is definitely there. When you look at the cultural difference between what the Americans call gospel and what we do is absolutely different. That's the reason why you see a lot of collaborations going on. You know, they want to sing with us. I'm glad that is happening. The game is, I intentionally use the word game because it's more or less like the bar is set so high, and the Nigerian gospel artists, they are doing amazingly well across the world. So I give it to us, and I will, you know, I give every artist out there, a gospel, you know, minister out there, you know, the thumbs up for all they are doing.
All right, so there's this mindset, especially amongst Nigerian clergy, that you don't pay a gospel musician. What do you think of this payment for ministration? Many of them have come out to say one thing, don't pay. Others are saying another, that you have to pay for their craft and all of that. What's your take on that?
I think it's an error.
Okay.
For example, it's not easy to make music. It's not easy. It's not cheap to make music either. And good sound comes with a lot of, you know, money involved. There's something we're trying to do with, because I'm in the studio right now recording, and we're trying to try a different route or rather a different approach in my production. And of course, that's going to cost me a lot of money. It's going to cost me even 3 times more than I've, you know, expended in this first effort. But that's the reality, right? Now think about putting everything together and you go somewhere to minister just for a thank you. Trust me, it doesn't work that way. So I would not, I don't subscribe to that thought. I think it's wrong. If a minister will go out, I'm talking about the pastors preaching now, goes out, because we are all ministers in our own right?
Yes.
Goes out and he gets honorarium or whatever they call it these days. Why shouldn't an artist? I'm not saying put a tab on what you want to get paid, but hey, even if you have to do that, that is you. We are all not going to be operating on the same level, but the bottom line is, I don't think it's fair for you to say somebody doesn't deserve to get paid for what they are doing. That's absolutely wrong.
Okay. I like the fact that you mentioned some things that have happened in the gospel music industry this year, because this year, I feel like this year was a very big year for gospel singers. But I want to ask, what do you think is the future of gospel music in, let's just double it down to Nigeria. What is the future of gospel music in Nigeria?
It's hard to say the future, but I would say for a fact, I think God has been so good to us. I mean, talking about the Nigerian artists now, I believe that there is nothing stopping us at this time. I believe that there's a lot more coming out that will be out, and there's so many people that are hungry out there. You know, the funny thing is that we are only celebrating the ones we've heard. There's so many musicians out there, so talented, even still in Nigeria, that have not been heard yet. So that hunger still fuels people, and guess what? It's only going to get bigger and better. So I want us to expect a lot from gospel artists in Nigeria. I have friends, I have a list of them who I know that are even better than the ones you heard. So when I see things like that, I know the future is bright. And all glory to God.
Okay.
All right. So before we go,
I think I want to ask a question. What artists, which artists are you or do you hope to work with one day? Any, whether secular or gospel, which one are you like, one day I will work with you?
Well, it's just scratch secular because it's not in me to. I'm not being judgmental or anything. If it comes and the person is probably going to sing gospel music, then yes, I might give it a try. But as far as Nigerian gospel artists is concerned, I would love to sing with any one of them because I believe so long as far as I'm concerned, I think I will lean more towards what he or she is bringing to the table and what I'm bringing. It could be a song from myself or the other person. So it depends on what the message is and all of that. I am open to any opportunity because I see it as an opportunity. Working with other people is always an opportunity to also learn something new because nobody knows it all. Nobody's a body of knowledge. There's this give and take into any collaboration. So I'm open to any kind of collaboration that happens in the future. For example, looking at my first effort, I had two. One with Nanamus, Jehovah Raids, and the other one with E. David. And those are wonderful collaborations. And of course, it added a twist to the song itself. So it's always a beautiful thing to have those collaborations. So yeah, I'm open.
All right. So finally, before we go, of course, we're lacking of time right now. You celebrated your birthday November 11th in your 50 years. You don't even look it.
Ooh, 50.
Oh, thank you.
Pass for 30.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday in arrears. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure listening to you and getting your insight and thoughts on the diverse issues in the gospel music scene. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless you.
Bless you too. All right, of course, that's it on the segment this morning. Yeah, it's 50.
50. I mean, I'm so tempted to ask you how old you are, but you will just answer that question after the show.
After the show.
Yeah.